My new book, Life is Abracadabra, just got released here in India. So I live in Costa Rica, that's in Central America, and I just came to India for the release of this book. Now, why is this book so interesting? So as you can see, there is a big blue butterfly on the eyes of a lady in the book cover. So blue butterfly is a hallmark symbol of Costa Rica, where I live in Central America. And this book has magical stories from my travels all over the world that will make anyone look at life with new eyes. Now, what do I mean by that? So, I was very young, around 17 years old, when I left India, and I just finished class 10 here, and then I went abroad to Singapore to study on a scholarship. And during university, I was studying computer science and German, and we had a lot of students from Germany at our university, and they were big travelers. They used to, during any holidays, they would just get the map of a new country that they have not even probably heard of, and go sometimes just backpacking alone to explore a new territory. So I found that very inspiring because here in India, young girls especially, we are not even allowed to go out alone when we are in our adolescent years. But here these German students, they were like traveling across Asia, backpacking, reading maps, exploring unknown territories. And I also wanted to explore that. So I started doing some backpacking trips around Asia. But my big dream was to go to Europe, to go to Germany, whose language I was learning. But I neither had the money nor the opportunity to go there. And my dream was so strong that sometimes during the exams, I used to take my books to the airport in Singapore, the Changi airport, and I would sit at the viewing mall, and all the planes that used to go to Europe, towards Europe, I used to wave at them and say, tell Germany I'm coming soon, or ask Europe to prepare for my arrival. And I used to play with myself like that because I didn't have the money to go, but I really wanted to go. And then something very magical happened, like within a couple of months, I won an all-expense paid trip to Europe by writing an essay that was selected by a university in Switzerland. So it was very magical for me, and after I returned from Europe, I took up a student exchange program to live across different continents of the world. So from Asia, I went to Europe, Africa, South America, Central America, North America, and in all these continents, I have lived not just for 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 months, but for years. And when I was doing my exchange programs in these continents, I lived with local families, eating their food, adopting their lifestyles, wearing their costumes, working in their country, attending their religious and traditional functions, going to their weddings, to their church masses. And I had a lot of insights. Like, I was literally looking at life through myriad mirrors of reality. And during this time, I also had some really extreme and intense experiences. For example, sometimes I found myself in a life-threatening situation, and there was no way to come out of that situation. And I knew that I was going to die, that there was no way I would survive that. And then something so magical happened and took me out of that life-threatening situation. Or there was an insurmountable challenge, an obstacle that there was no conceivable possibility to overcome for me. And then someone would show up in my life, or something strange would happen, and that problem would be magically solved. So at some point I felt that there is a bigger purpose to my life, and there is some energy, some higher force that was protecting me on this journey and that was showing me the way. So of course I didn't know the whole path, only one step was shown to me, and when I would take that step, then another step would be shown to me, and then another, and this is how I traveled. I lived across the whole world for nearly 20 years, and I had very magical insights during these adventures of the heart, that I can say. And that's why it is called 21 Magical Stories, because this book will make you believe in magic and miracles. And I will explain to you how that happens. So when we come to this world, we all have come here to do something. But in this world of duality and this reality of contrasts, it's easy for us to forget, or if we don't tune into the feelings in our hearts, if we don't listen to the inner voice, we can easily be swayed by society, by the programming of culture, by what our parents are saying. Mother is saying, become a doctor. Father is saying, study engineering. Teacher is saying, do computers. So where do you go? Inside you, a rock star is sitting. And how do you give expression to that person inside you that you have come here to fulfill? So this book shows you how the universe sends opportunities on your way when you just have a desire or when you have a dream and you have no idea how to manifest that dream. External reality shows you a totally opposite situation, and there is no way you can plan or conceive a way that will take you towards your dream. But if you dream enough, if you dream big, and if your dream is big enough to contain your soul, then you will be presented with opportunities, and the universe sends signs and synchronicities on your way. And when you notice that synchronicity and you take action, then another synchronicity is presented on your way, and then another, and then another, and before you know it, you are propelled onto an entire new reality where when you look back, you can't even recognize your past. But if you don't heed to those signs and synchronicities, they will pass you by. They will recede into your past without creating a single ripple, because it will never interfere with your free will. And you will continue in your daily routine life, and maybe that dream will die in your heart. You may have a chronic ailment, or you may be very restless and unhappy, and you wouldn't know why. It's because you are not expressing your soul, you are not following your true passion. So I didn't know, at the age of 17, I didn't know what I was meant to do in life. But today I know, because I had the courage to listen to my heart and follow the guidance of the universe. And through these 21 magical stories in my book, I show you how you too can do that, can walk that magical path, where you can create joy in your life. We come here, and the moment we become adults, we start working, and work becomes a chore, something to endure. But work is not meant to be a chore. You are here to create joy, to express who you are, and to experience who you are, really. But when work becomes a chore and you are living that daily routine every day, you lose yourself. You don't know what are the desires in your heart, because you have not taken out the time to speak to your heart. So I encourage all of you to get a copy of this book. It's called Life is Abracadabra, and it will show you how you too can go on that magical journey. It may not be traveling, it may be that a great musician is sitting inside you, or a great player is sitting, basketball player is sitting inside you, and you have to give expression to that, because that is when you will feel true joy, and you will create joy in everybody's life that you touch.
Yeah, because writing a book is not easy.
Okay, the motivation, very good question. So I had a dream, and I saw the book in a dream. And I traveled this whole world. I had all these magical experiences, and I used to be an introvert. I never shared my world with anyone. But in a dream one day, I saw that I have to write about my experiences for the world to know. And when I woke up, I didn't believe it. I thought it's just a dream. We human beings, we doubt everything. So I just doubted it, but something inside me kept saying, you have to do it, you have to do it. And then I thought, okay, I just wrote 3 stories and I sent it to a bunch of publishers to see if there is any interest in the book. And within half an hour, I got 2 book deals sitting in my inbox, and at least like 5-10 publishers and literary agents expressed interest in the book. So that's when I knew that this book had a lot of potential, and I had only written 3 stories. So within a month, I wrote the remaining stories, 21 stories, and I then got a publisher and I published it. And the book has 26 endorsements from renowned luminaries and world visionaries like the President of Costa Rica, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Guinness Book of World Records holder, Lonely Planet founder, internationally best-selling authors have all endorsed this book. So when so many people started reading the book and giving me such positive feedback, I knew this book came here on earth for a reason. I had to give birth to this book, and then the book will find its own destiny. Did I answer your question? Yeah, any more questions here? Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Yes.
I was a shepherd.
Yeah, hi.
Until then, I am in class 1 of the WBF India.
Okay.
Neither I am known about English, neither Hindi.
Okay.
I am from Banaras. But I would like to be on another actor. At the present, I am studying Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin, okay.
I think it's one of the best autobiographies in the world.
Okay.
It is possible a person of 50 years old be a writer without knowing English and Hindi.
Be a writer, of course. See, even if you are 99 years old, I will tell you that don't stop dreaming. Because life doesn't end at death or at any age. Souls don't have an age. If there is a writer sitting inside you, you have to give expression to it. Doesn't matter if you don't write Hindi properly or English properly. You write in whatever language you know, broken Hindi, broken English, then you can find an editor who will edit it and send it to a publisher. But you express what is inside you, because you cannot die with the dream inside you.
That is the content. If there is a content, then it will be edited properly.
Yes, so if you want to write fiction or non-fiction, it depends, right? If fiction, you just have to imagine, you have to dream, you come up with a good story, it may be influenced by incidents from your own life. If it is non-fiction, then you already know what you want to write. Like my book is non-fiction, it's a memoir, it has stories from my life. But I wrote it in a way that it will impact everyone. So, yes.
Difference between memoir and autobiography?
Autobiography is like your story, you write about it. Memoir is similar, of course, but memoir can be a part of your life, not the whole life. Like I was born in this day, I died in this day, and this happened. Memoir, like this is a memoir, this is not exactly an autobiography because I don't start the story from my birth until now. It starts from when the magic started happening in my life. And I want to comment a little bit about the magic, because my first encounter with magic was not when I won that all expense paid trip to Europe. So when I was in university in Singapore, I injured my back, my spinal cord, and I was nearly crippled. So I call it a crippling back injury, and it was so painful that I could not do anything. So the doctors had told me that I cannot wear heels, I cannot run, I cannot dance, I cannot climb stairs, I cannot exercise on hard ground, I cannot bend, I cannot sit in a chair for longer than 10 minutes without hurting my back. So doctors had put me on a lot of restrictions, and I had to wear this huge, big, thick belt around my waist all the time. And I was always in pain. 2 years of suffering drove me to contemplating suicide. So when I was at university, there were times I would be like, what is the use of my life like this? I had put on a lot of weight, I could not move, I could not do anything normally. And before that accident, I used to be an athlete. I was in my college, I was the top athlete person. I used to play basketball, I used to dance. Agility was in my nature. And when all of that came to a full stop, I went into severe depression and I was contemplating suicide. Until one night, I dared to step outside of my physical limitations. I will not tell what I did because that is the first story in my book. But when I was ready to die, my back got magically, spontaneously healed. And I didn't know how it happened or how to explain it, but I called it a personal miracle, and that was my first encounter with magic. But today I know it is epigenetics. So epigenetics is above genetics. Just because you are predisposed to an illness or you have genetic predisposition to a certain illness, hereditary or something, it doesn't mean that you will get it. It depends on how you live your life. And that is called epigenetics because epigenetics is above genetics. When the doctors told me I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I couldn't do that, for me it was a death sentence because I was so young and I had lost my whole stability of my body. So I couldn't take that. But then when I dared to step outside of my physical limitations, I did something very daring that the doctors would have asked me never to do. And my back got healed. But here I am not telling you do this in your life. So that is a disclaimer. When our souls are ready, when we have nothing to lose, and we can find the courage in our hearts to walk the path of our dreams, that is when the magic happens. And if you read the story, you will know what I'm talking about. So there is this collective consciousness that I call the collective mind. And it is a fear-based consciousness. So everybody tells you to fear everything. If you are traveling to an unknown country, people, the first thing they say is be careful. As if you don't know that you have to be careful. They'll say, oh, people are bad. There are racists everywhere. There is this, there is that. But what if, having lived the whole world, what if I told you that the world is a friendly place? The world is not as scary as it seems to be, as people tell you it is. There are good people and bad people everywhere. You can find the good people. You can find them if you are not expecting to meet the bad people. So I'm reminded of this poem called Ithaca, which I read before traveling the world, and it just took away the fear. There are 2 lines in this poem that I want to recite. It says, the Lestrygonians and the Cyclops, the angry Poseidon, you will never encounter them on your path if your heart hasn't set them up before you, if your thoughts remain lofty, if a fine emotion touches your spirit. So can you remove the Lestrygonians and the Cyclops and the Poseidon from here? Then you will not meet them on your path. Your heart will not set them up before you because there is no need for them. See, we are very powerful creators. What we believe, we create. So this word, abracadabra, it's a Hebrew word. It means I shall create as I speak. I shall create as I believe. I shall create as I do. See, God is here, creator. We are made in the image and likeness of the creator, and we are here to create. If you believe that you will meet people who will harm you, who will cheat you, who will deceive you, will encounter them. So when I was going to Africa, both my parents, they opposed because they were scared. I was such a young, unmarried girl. They didn't want me to to go to a country or continent like Africa because it's a scary place. You know, we read in newspapers this, that, people are scared of it. So I wanted to go because I didn't want to come back to India and I didn't want to stay in Singapore. So I said, what is there? People live in Africa, human beings live there, so why I can't go there? And it is true, I had some extreme experiences. I got robbed of all the money I took with me to Africa. In my very first month, I lost all that money. And you know, after working in Africa for 1.5 years and saving every month, I hadn't even gathered half the ticket money that I needed to come back. So, just to give you an example, I had saved with me around 150,000 nairas, and the ticket prices started from 300,000 nairas. And all the travel agencies I was calling, they were quoting me a price more than double of what I could afford. So they were like 350,000 naira, 400,000 naira. And there was no conceivable possibility how I could leave Africa with so little money. But the universe is there, it doesn't see limitations. I had to leave the country within a certain date, and I didn't know how I would do that because I had no money. And then one day, before going to work, I was taking my bucket bath, and there was a voice inside that told me, have faith, you will go. And that day I did something different that I don't do every day, and that story is in the book. Within a couple of hours, I met a stranger, a lady, who gave me my tickets to leave Africa. And when I was taking leave of her, I asked her, what is your name? And her name was Faith. I'm not kidding you. Her name was Faith. And I felt like there was an angel there that God had sent to take me out of that country because whatever I had gone there to do, I was done. And it was time for me to leave. So Faith gave me my tickets to Africa. Just 2 hours before that, there was a voice that said, have faith, you will go. So you know what it means when I say, I shall create as I speak, Abracadabra. And she gave me the ticket and I left Africa. So this is the kind of stories that are in the book. You don't have to worry about your present limitations. You don't have to worry how it will happen. You just have to believe in what you want. And the universe will bring the solution to you. And we all have, I also have challenges in my life all the time. So I say this, if there are some things going on well in your life, you have a programming inside you that supports that. If there is something that is not working in your life, you have a programming inside you that doesn't support it. That's in one country is wrong in another country. What you believe is polite is impolite in another region. So where do you draw the line? Like, what is there an absolute truth? I tell you, we are making it all up. As we go along in life, we are making it. If there is something that you don't find approval of in your country, look to another culture to find approval for it. One example I will give you, like women, I did a TED talk on this. It's about the perception of beauty of women across different cultures. So sometimes a woman might feel that I'm too fat, so I'm not beautiful. Then I tell them, go and look at the women in Africa. They are so fat and so curvaceous and so voluptuous, and people actually like fat women there. Nobody likes thin girls. If you think you're too thin, then go look at Singapore, look at China, where all the girls are small and thin and petite, and you will find approval there. If you think you're too dark, go to Europe, go to Latin America, and people will worship you for your skin color. You know, when I come to India, like when I was in Africa, I got very tanned with the strong sun there. My color had become very dark. So when I came back to India, everybody was like, oh, you've become so dark. Your color has become dirty. And I used to actually go to the beaches to get darker because people there love dark skin. Here in India, we have these cosmetic products called Fair and Lovely, where women are encouraged to become fairer, so they will look beautiful. In Africa, they have soaps that are called Dark and Lovely because they celebrate what they have. They celebrate their beauty. They don't put you in self-rejection of who you are. So always find self-acceptance, self-love for whoever, however you are. If you see beauty inside you, it will be reflected outside. So when you travel, a lot of these limitations just dissolve from your mind because you start seeing other cultures, you start seeing other belief systems, other societies, how people think in different places. They are so different from how you are taught when you are growing up. And your mind opens. You start playing with life. You are not at the reaction of life. Things happen to us and we say, it happened, we are reacting. But how about you rise above that and you start creating instead of reacting? You just bring the seed from the word reaction, you bring it in the front and you start seeing things differently and you are a creator, you are not a reactor anymore. So you don't have to find yourself at the effect of life all the time. You can be the cause, not the effect. So traveling helps you to overcome a lot of those limiting belief systems that you find in your culture that can also give you diseases. So that's why traveling is so important. And when you travel, don't just travel for leisure. Don't just go and stay in a hotel. Find local people. Nowadays, there are so many organizations. There is all these Google Maps, these influencers and bloggers, and there are these organizations that encourage you to travel, live with local people when you are in other countries. But when I started 20 years ago, none of it was there. Social media was not there, Google Maps was not there, Ola Uber was not there. At that time, I just followed the inspiration in my heart because this was my destiny. I didn't even know when I stepped outside of India, I didn't even know that I was going to travel the whole world, I would be a globetrotter. I didn't know all that. It just happened, life showed me one path and then the other and then the other. And now when I look back, I feel it was destiny. I was meant to do this. So from a computer engineer, today I am an author, I am an award-winning international speaker, I have spoken on some of the largest platforms in the world, and I am living my dreams. And I encourage all of you to dream. If you don't have a dream, then create a dream and then go ahead and live it. Any more questions?
Yeah, in fact, I have been to Costa Rica, Haiti,
Amazing.
for my business, and it's a lovely place. And it's true, like what you said, whenever you're going to a new country, it will scare you. Like I was going to Costa Rica, Haiti, same thing happened to me, they told me it's very dangerous.
Right.
They're also shooting that thing.
Yes.
Anyway, so my question pertains to your book. You have mentioned quite a number of times about the dreams.
Yes.
And this, I often hear with many other motivational speakers who just say, just dream. But the reality is, like, just dreaming doesn't work. Maybe you agree, but most of the people don't agree on this issue also, that magics happen, or just by dreaming you can achieve anything. So what's your take on that?
I will tell you, when you open my book, there is one sentence that says, magic only happens to those who can make it real in their imaginations. Your imagination is your source code. It is your divine gift. You have come into this world with one power, and that is the power of your imagination. You can create anything. You can create hell and heaven in your imagination. And what happens, so people who say don't dream and be realistic, they have not understood their divine gift. Because when you can hold a thought in your mind for 17 seconds, you will see it reflected in your external reality. Try it, go and think of a butterfly. And then when you go out that day, look out for a butterfly. You will see it on your path. This is called synchronicity. And that is why I say this will take you on another dimension of reality. So you rise above the collective consciousness. That says, be afraid of this, be realistic, be that no. Everything comes here. You love somebody, you fall in love. Where do you experience the love? In your imagination. You succeed in something in your life. Where do you experience the joy of that success? In your imagination. You have a feeling. Where do you process that feeling in your imagination. And that feeling that you have, it can look as good or as bad as you imagine it to be. Is there anything more powerful than imagination? Please tell me. No. So, if it can become a reality in your imagination, it will become a reality in your physical life. You know, I say build your castles in the air and then put the foundations underneath. Because if you don't know where you are going, you cannot lay the foundation. If you don't know what your dream is, you cannot know where to go. So find out. Maybe when you were a child, you were attracted to certain things. And maybe your dream is related to that. Because when you are connected with your soul, it's easy to find out what you come here to do. And you will not fall sick. You will not see. When I overcame that crippling back injury, it was because I was in a wrong career. I was doing something I hated. Just because my parents asked me to do, my society was telling me you have to study this field, you have to do this, I was doing that. And I enjoyed my back. And the day I had the courage to step out of those limitations, I was spontaneously, magically, miraculously healed. Whatever word you want to put there, you put. Magic, miracle, wishful thinking, whatever you want to put. But today, I'm wearing heels, I'm a dancer, I'm an athlete, I'm a marathon runner. I have done extreme sports, I have climbed down waterfalls, I have danced in heels, like what I have not done with a crippled back. You know, I never went back to the doctor. I never did an MRI again because I didn't need to. That much confidence I have in my physical body that people cannot just come and say, hey, it's the pandemic, go and get vaccination and I'll go and get vaccination. No, I didn't. Because I don't believe it will touch me. So you rise above the fear consciousness and that is when you can create magic. And how you rise above the fear consciousness? Here. If it is possible in your mind, it will be possible in your reality. If it is impossible in your mind, it will be impossible in your reality. And you know, half of these stories started in a real dream, not in my imagination, when I was sleeping and having a dream. When I wake up, I recall the dream and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. And I do that and I find the solution. So read it. You will really like it. Life is abracadabra. It really is. Yes. You have a question?
Yes, I missed a little bit of your beginning.
Okay.
So, but I want to know why should I, a person like me, buy your book?
Yeah, so this is a book that will make you believe in magic and miracles. If you want to start thinking in a new way and maybe you have a dream and you want to manifest that, but there is no conceivable possibility in your present life right now as to how you can go about it, then this book will help you. It will help you think in a different way that can actually start bringing opportunities in your life. So through real life stories, real life escapades and examples, I have shown you how the magic happens. Because magic is not something you can plan. Then it's not magic, right? If you can plan and and I always tell people that you should not do what you could already do. What's the joy? Where is the excitement in living like that? Try something that you can fail at. That is living. So take the risk. When an opportunity shows up or even a subtle sign comes up in your life, it is an affirmation of what you are thinking and what you are desiring. So follow that impulse, follow that hunch. And before you know it, you will be walking a magical path. And when you look back, you will be like, there's no way I could have come here without that synchronicity showing up or that opportunity showing up. So sometimes what happens, even if a small something shows up in our lives in alignment with our desires or with our dreams, we ignore it. We are too scared to take that path because we think, what will our parents think? What will our friends think? The friends' approval and the parents' approval becomes more important than the dreams in our souls. And we go into self-abandonment, self-rejection, and even self-hating, when we can't express our true passions in life. So that's why this book will help you see life from totally new eyes. Like that way you would have never looked at it. It will definitely change your perception of life.
You revisit the point where you said that it can't happen with planning, imagination can't happen with
No,
planning.
so this is how, like magic, you can't plan. So magic just happens. But you can believe in your dreams. You can see it, you can imagine it. Sometimes I say, live in the end. Start imagining as if the dream has already happened. How will your life look like then? Imagine it, see it, feel it, put all the vivid colors of how your new life is going to look like, and start living in that reality, even if the external circumstances show you something totally different. So, like I said, build your castle in the air, then put the foundation. So, that castle in the air is that dream manifested, that dream lived. And then you go backwards. And when an opportunity shows up, take it. If you miss it, don't worry. Life will send you another one and another one and another one. But if you keep ignoring it, it's not that life will stop sending you opportunities or signs or signals. It will just that you will stop noticing them and the magic will never happen. They will not interfere with your free will because you are here and you have a free will. So when a sign shows up, like I'll give you a very good example. So this is actually my second book. My first book was more experimental. It's called Magic 9 and I was in Costa Rica because I was having these intense magical experiences and I didn't know what to do with them. So I was writing them down. Then one day I had a very strong feeling, like a direct sign that told me you should publish this into a book. And I didn't understand why. It was a very personal journey and I didn't want the world to read what was in my heart. So I resisted that thought as much as I could. We are mortals and we are doubtful creatures. We doubt everything. We believe we don't deserve that magic. We don't deserve that dream. And we go back to our mundane routine life. So that feeling that I should publish that book was so strong. One day I was walking on the road and I told the universe, I said, God, give me a sure sign, a sign that I cannot miss. And I kept walking, I went to work. So I was teaching English in Central America and I went to this institution, one of the largest institutions there that teaches local people English. And I was taking a class and I was teaching modal verbs. May, might, can, could, have, should. So one of my students raised her hand and said, teacher, can I give an example to see if I understood? And I said, go ahead. And she said, the teacher must have written a book. I don't know why she gave that example because there was no context of book or anything in that grammar class. She could have said Pamela wrote a book or Sam is writing a book. Why did she say the teacher must have written a book? And just half an hour ago, I asked universe to give me a direct sign. But we are doubtful creatures, so I doubted it. I thought, okay, maybe this is just a coincidence, and I ignored it. 2 days later, in that same different work form, teacher, can I give an example? And then she said, the teacher wrote a book 3 times. Once, I ignored. Twice, okay, maybe something is there. Thrice, I published the book. And after publishing it, my whole life changed. Till now I tell people I published the book for myself, not for anybody else. Because from a mere English teacher in some institution in Latin America, today I have become an international best-selling author and award-winning speaker, and I found my passion because I listened to that synchronicity, that student telling me what was in my heart. And imagine if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't published the book, today I wouldn't be here with the second book and the third book, and I wouldn't be sitting in front of you talking about dreams and magic. I would still be an English teacher in that institution earning about $600 to $800 a month. That's it. So this is how universe speaks to you in tangible ways. And we can ignore it because I had the choice to ignore it. And you know that student, her name was Victoria. So I said, victory be, victory to that guidance, that higher power, God, that guides us. You know, we have to make them win. And then we will also win. And that class, it was a level 9 class. And the room number where I was teaching that class, it was 207. And you know, all multiples of 9, when you add them, they always, and reduce them to a single digit, you'll always get a 9. And my first book was called Magic 9 because I was seeing a lot of magic with the number 9. So the story of Magic 9 started on 9 September 2009 in a 9-lettered country called Venezuela, in a 9-lettered city called Maracaibo, where I was living with a local family whose name was 9-lettered Contreras. So I was seeing a lot of 9s, playing with the 9s in my head. And this was a level 9 class where this student was telling me to publish Magic 9. And even the timings, it was from 6:30 to 9 p.m. that class, and 6 plus 3 is a 9 p.m. So there were lots of 9s, and then although Magic 9 did not become a very famous book because, you know, I published it in English in Costa Rica and people speak Spanish there, but it led me to the path of my dreams. More questions? We have another 5-10 minutes. Yes. Is it working? Okay. Yes.
Hi, I'm really happy to be in this energy field that you have created, and I really resonate with everything that you have said, like manifestations, and sometimes I see like synchronicities and all that stuff. So, and also I want to congratulate for your book, and I'm just really happy that you are telling your experience, because I feel as women we need to talk about like I just want to say that what I have experienced in my life sometimes.
Right.
When we talk about destiny, manifestations, and all that stuff, what is happening?
Yeah, just go ahead and get it.
So when we talk about destiny and all that stuff, people just shrug it off.
Right.
Like people say, "Oh no, this is not a logical, this is not a logical reasoning." And I myself come from hello, yeah, and I also
Change the map.
yes. So I was saying, you come from engineering background, and I do too. I have studied mechanical engineering, and I'm also an author, just an upcoming author.
You never know, it starts with that first one.
Yeah, actually, my latest one became a bestseller, but I'm not as big as you are. So
I'm not big.
I am here to take notes from you.
Sure.
So please guide me. Just consider me as your humble student, and please guide me what an upcoming author should do, through this journey of publishing, writing. What is your experience?
See, writing is a lonely hobby. You know, I know that because until and unless I'm connecting with that inner thing, I cannot bring out those expressions. So for that, you may have to sacrifice a lot of fun in your life. You know, going out, hanging out, drinking, smoking. I don't know, a lot of people do that. But I'm not judging or saying anything, but when you want to become a good writer, you have to spend a lot of time with yourself and believe in your writing. It may not be the best. You know, you write something, you send it to some publishers, they reject it. It is still your creation. You cannot reject it. It is your first step. You learn from it. Like my first book, it was unedited, you know, and I never was expecting that book to do it. I was just happy to have a book, you know. And when I was in Costa Rica, like I was already in the educational field, teaching this, that. So all the universities, institutions, wherever I was, you know, doing guest lectures, teaching and all, they're like, "Oh, you have published a book. Now come as a guest speaker, we have this event, we have that event, come and speak to our students, tell us the journey in your book." And I realized that when I'm teaching a small teacher in a small classroom, I'm impacting so few people. But when I do a mass event like this or give a talk on a TED platform or something like that, I can inspire so many more. So exactly. So even you, like whether you want to write fiction or non-fiction, doesn't matter. Just believe that you have the ability to write something unique,
Because you know, just like no two fingerprints are the same, no two snowflakes are the same, no two writers will write the same thing. So have the courage to find your unique expression. You are here to paint your masterpiece. You know, and that masterpiece will not look like anything you have seen. So I tell people, the moment the day you are born, you are painting this masterpiece of your life. Now you know what colors will go there. You know what that thing, because the seed, you know, when you have a seed of a flower or a plant, you see that small seed and you think, what is this? But you put it under the soil, you nourish it, you put water, everything, and the seed knows that what tree it has to become. So when you are born, your soul knows what you have come here to do. What is that masterpiece going to be?
You can whitewash the whole painting and start anew with the brushes of your own wants and wishes and desires and dreams, the colors of your soul. Whitewash your painting and paint again.
Amazing.
Thank you.